Welcome to Teams Tips. I'm Amanda Pritchard, a UTD alum and the Microsoft 365 specialist at UT Dallas. As a student, I can remember the times when someone would stop and help me by answering my questions, give me clarifying details, or just provide me a little reassurance that I was on the right track. I remember how valuable it was to have somebody invest time and energy in me, and I hope that today will be a small means of providing you with some comfort and familiarity as we start the spring semester. I am thrilled that you're joining us today and look forward to an engaging presentation with you all. We will be going over the Microsoft Teams platform, answering the questions that you submitted when you registered, and sharing a few new features that are now available. Whether you identify as someone with no knowledge of Teams or someone who's familiar with the platform, know that we'll be covering content that will be helpful and beneficial to anyone at any level. It is the Office of Information Technology's goal to help ensure you're properly equipped and feeling confident about the start of your spring semester. Behind the scenes today, we have two amazing student workers helping to run the production side of the event. I owe so much credit to the incredible efforts of Soy and Megdalite, who have poured their energy and efforts into making this event what it is today. You may not see them, but know that it was their assistance and their commitment to serving students that made today possible. I know that training and learning new materials, especially online, can be challenging. So too can it be hard to be away from the vibrant campus that we normally have. While Timok could not attend today and be with us like he could in person, his spirit and the UTD spirit is still present in all that we do. I challenge you to pay close attention to how many times you see his face or likeness in this presentation. You may just have a prize away, able to submit the correct final number at the end of the training. So keep count. We'll also be doing drawings at the very end of our session for special swag giveaways, so stay tuned for your chance to win. If you registered early, your name was entered into our giveaway, and we just posted the 5 winners in our chat now. We'll contact you by email with the prize details. Congratulations. Before we start, if this is your first time attending one of our virtual sessions, I'd like to go over a few details to help make you feel more comfortable. First, be aware that we can't see you or interact with you. Soy, will you advance to the next slide, please? Thank you. So just because we can't see you doesn't mean you can't still interact and express yourself or ask questions. To interact with the speaker, me, or to ask a question, navigate to the far right side of your screen. In that upper right corner, you'll see an icon with a question mark on it. Timok's pointing. That's number 1. Make sure you're counting. Find that icon with a question mark, click on that icon, and you're on the right side of your screen, the live event Q&A will appear. We'll be posting important links and communications in our chat feed. In addition, you can use that feature to pose your questions. You'll see at the very bottom of the screen where the arrow is pointing on my slide that on the right side of the chat applet, there's a blue button to ask questions. So we've gone ahead and posted, and I'm going to take a glance and see. Right now, out of over about 250 attendees, we only have about 50 that have liked that post. So if you go ahead and navigate into our chat and like that post, that just assures me that you know how to get and how to make sure that you're interacting with us today, because I don't want to miss any of your questions. So just a few facts about Teams Live. As I mentioned, we can't see you, just a count of how many people are actively tuned in. We had over 600 register, 500 of which were students. And I see several now are still joining. If at any time you're feeling a little lost or confused, note that one of the amazing features in a live event is that you can pause and rewind the speaker. Go ahead, you can try it now. If you hover over my video feed right now, you'll see a line across the bottom of the screen. You can click on it and go backwards in time, or pause me so that you can catch up on taking notes, grab another cup of coffee, or just have a quick conversation. I want to make you aware of this feature so you don't feel like you're falling behind or missing any of the content. Make use of pausing if it helps you. Go back and replay anything you don't understand. Please note there's always a 20-second delay in a Teams live event from when you post a question to when we receive it. All the questions are going to be reviewed by moderators and may not necessarily be posted and appear for the entire audience to review. We have about 600 of you today and 2 moderators, so it may take a little time to get all of your questions answered quickly. The 2 moderators behind the scenes are Brian and Rupa, who have volunteered their time and their resources to be able to answer questions for you today. So I'll do my best to answer as we move along, but I do ask for your patience because it may be later in the presentation that we answer your particular question. Today's session is the Office of Information Technology's inaugural Teams orientation. Because supporting students, staff, and faculty is so important to the mission of the Office of Information Technology, I do have a special guest here today to formally welcome you to the orientation. The majority of those attending are students, and we want to take a moment to recognize that fact. Please join me in welcoming Brian Dourty, our Associate Vice President and Chief Technology Officer.
Thank you for that introduction, Amanda. I'm so happy to have the opportunity to speak with you all today, and I want to start off by thanking you for choosing UTD. My job is to make sure the technology UTD relies on to facilitate teaching, learning, and research is available, efficient, and usable. In short, it is about making the experience great. I need your help to do that, so please take the time to provide us feedback and ask for help when you need it. I want to welcome you all to the awesome training and hope it makes your semester of learning a little easier from a technology perspective. OIT is highly invested in our students, and you are why we are here. Our goal at OIT is to find innovative solutions that make it easier for students to learn and get the most value out of their education. Teams is a good example of that. This is something many of you will use in your careers, so really embrace this training, and I hope you get a lot out of it. Thank you for being here, and please do not hesitate to contact OIT if there is anything we can do to make your learning journey better. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Brian. I share your sentiments about the amazing community we have at UTD and OIT's desire to offer quality support. To help ensure that you all have access to the material we covered today, we're sending out a copy of the recording after the session. And if you don't want to wait for us to send out that email with the recording, you can go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's really beneficial to be a subscriber because any new trainings, features, or updates that impact the university, we offer video tips and tricks on how to navigate those updates. So I know some people are quite content with just reading about updates, but if you're like me and you like a visual walkthrough, then subscribing may be your preferred option. Microsoft Teams launched across campus last March. And no, we did not plan or time it along with the pandemic. It's just how everything fell into place. And with the massive undertaking of moving classes to remote learning and employees to remote work, we have not offered a comprehensive training just on the basic features of Teams. So today we're going to start from the beginning and walk through the platform, sharing new features as we go along. The use of Microsoft has grown within the past 9 months. Microsoft now has over 115 million users on its software. Because of that, updates are frequent and they're constantly looking for ways to improve or enhance how we live our lives remotely. Even if it's a platform you've been using and you're a returning employee or a student, there are best practices you may not have thought of and new features that just released over the break that I plan to call your attention to. So this session is truly designed for any user at any level. So you can access Microsoft Teams one of 3 ways. So as shown on the slide here, you can go through teams.microsoft.com. That's the web portal and can be viewed from any browser other than Internet Explorer. So if you use that one, try to get Edge. So you could also access it through the mobile app. The mobile app on your phone is not required for classes. You are not under any kind of requirement to use it. However, it's a feature available and I wanted to let you know about it because I think it's really beneficial if you need to join a class or a meeting and you're on the move and quickly respond to chat. this can be a lifesaver if you have access to it. I personally prefer writing my long chats using the voice to text feature, so that way I can get my communication done and not have to worry about typing it out. So having a mobile app for me personally saves me an immense amount of time. From the desktop app, which is the third one is the desktop app, and that's a free app that's installed on your computer, kind of like PowerPoint or Minecraft, depending on what you're into. But that we already have installed on the computer. So since I'm hosting the live event through my Teams account and I don't want to inadvertently get kicked off our presentation, I'm going to use my demo account in the web browser to share basic navigation in Teams. Just note, if you do have the desktop application open, you can have Teams also open in a browser. So for me personally today, I have 3 screens in front of me. So I could I could have my chats on the web browser and have the Teams app open and be doing something else on there. So you can have them open, multiple screens open at a time, so that if you're trying to navigate several things, you can do that. Okay. So you'll have to forgive me if I look away, because I will be looking at my other screen from time to time to share some of these things with you. First, I want to share, if you're not familiar with how to view your activity, you'll notice this little bell at the top left of the screen. And if it's not zoomed in enough, would somebody let me know? I did zoom in on the browser, but I want to make sure you can see it. So I have this little bell. That's your activity. Anytime you have a notification, you'll get a little alert there to let you know that there's something that's come in that we want to draw your attention to. The next feature I want to call your attention to, let's click on that too, just so you can see, this brings in your feed. So anytime anyone's communicated with you, that's what shows up in your activity feed. The next feature is the chat. So you can see here in the chat box, this is a way that we can interact. Chatting is probably the most used feature within Teams because it's the easiest way to interact with individuals. Let's scroll down and see. Soy needs me. I need you too, Soy. I'm so glad you're here. So if you need somebody's attention radically and you need to get their focus, you can tag them in a chat using the @ tag. So Soy, you can see, mentioned this is my my demo Teams account, but Soy tagged me and it sends me kind of this red alert and it lets me know that I've been mentioned. It draws my attention to the fact that she needs help with something right away. and you can go ahead and set those chats up to happen quite frequently too, if you need to continue to get someone's attention. If you're wanting to personalize your chat a little bit, there's a couple of options down below here. If you'll note underneath your chat messages, there's all of these little icons that allow you to personalize and to do some special things within chat. So Soy needs me and she's trying to get my attention. So I can let her know I'm here. And within the chat, when I click on the A button, that's going to allow you to format your text. It'll also allow you to do any kind of color, any highlighting, changing your font size if you really need to get something larger or smaller to somebody. And then in addition, the 3 little dots in Teams, think of that as the pot at the end of the rainbow. There's always something magical happening on that other side. You just have to dig for it. So when you click on those 3 little dots, you'll see that there's several other options in there. Whether you want to format your text in a bulleted list, insert a quote or a link, you're able to do that. So let's let Soy know that I'm here to send. You just push the little arrow key. But you'll notice within this, you can format your text quite extensively to make it look a little bit more formalized. Now, I did want to call your attention. I'm using the web browser. If you're using the Teams app, it's a slightly different in how you can modify your text here. You can make yourself a big header image so you can really segment and call attention to chats, especially if you're looking at having something that you want to consistently communicate on. In addition with chat, you can hover over what somebody has sent just so that she knows that I understand that she's needed me and that we're communicating. And you have several different emojis that you can respond to just to let the other person know that you're there and that you're communicating. So in addition, So Soy too sent some of these as important messages. So if you want to send something important to, if you need to get a professor's attention, or if a professor needs to get your attention about a deadline or an exam, you may see something important coming up here. So we could say exam starts in 10 minutes. I know it's too early in the semester to think about that, but just in case. So you could highlight something as important. Then if you wanted to share any type of documentation, you can insert an attachment here. What's so cool, and so I'm going to have you, if you want to go ahead and send me a Word document that we could collaborate on. One of my favorite features in Teams is the fact that it allows you to collaborate. So you can send a file, and we have gone ahead and set one up in and shared it on our team. But you can send in a file here through attach. And oh, sorry, so do I already have it somewhere? Let's see. Now I have to find it. I'll let you see if you can. Okay, I'm going to go to where I have it because it might be helpful for you to see how I share a file as well. So let's see here. So I am in my testing team. So it's a fake team. So that's why it may look a little differently than what you have for classes. But within my testing team, I've gone ahead and I've saved a document within files. So when I'm on the team, these are my channels here on the side, and the channels will be where your classes are being held. So if you go ahead and you can look here, you'll see that within this channel, and your professors and staff for meetings may post a lot of files there. It's a quick way to grab those resources. But you'll see it here, and again, I want to call your attention to the 3 dots. That's the gold, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow there. You can see all of your options here for how you want to use this Word document. So because I want to send it to Soy pretty quickly, I'm going to go ahead and copy the link that we have, and I'm going to go back into my chat with Soy and go ahead and post it in there. If you notice that quick little change, it went from having the full URL to just the quick reference to the document. So let's see if Soy, I'll let her know, can you take a look at this? If you're working on a group project, this is the absolute best way to interact and to correspond regarding these kind of documentations. So Soy's writing back to me, and I'm going to go ahead and open up. Perfect. She's going to edit it now. I'm going to go ahead and open it up so that we both can be in it at the same time. And you can do this. It's not just Word, it's Excel, it's PowerPoint, it's any of the Microsoft products. So you can be making edits in live time. You'll notice that it lets you know if any changes were made. So Soy's been busy editing this document and preparing for today. So she's going ahead and showing you how to text and to communicate within this document. It will track all of those changes. So you can see if you're working in a class and you're trying to get down either some notes or a spreadsheet and trying to figure out your data from your research, you as a class or in a meeting can be collaborating on this document all in live time and be able to have those quick interactions with each other. So it's a nice way to be able to share your information, and we'll just scroll up here. And you can see as she's moving back and forth, it has a little toggle and it'll identify that person's name that's on it. So even if you have 5 to 10 or even more people editing at one time, you'll be able to identify who is doing what. So she's going to keep on working and she's modifying that document, but I can go back in my chat here and see that Soy's still there. She's working on it, and I can let her know, thanks. It looks good because we liked it. It was perfect. So that's a kind of a quick at a glance way to collaborate. I know that was a question that a lot of people had, was how to share and to attach files. If you don't have your file saved in OneDrive, that's okay. You can absolutely just go ahead and click and upload directly from your computer. So if you have a presentation to turn into a professor or a document you're wanting to share, It can be any type of file, JPEG, PDF, whatever you'd like to share, that you can post it in there and still be able to submit anything that you have due for classes. So perfect. So I don't know about you all, if you've been in classes previously or been on group chats. Sometimes you keep getting pinged and pinged on a chat, and it might be frustrating to you. We get a lot of questions on how do I mute it? How do I make it stop? Just make it stop. Well, guess what? There's an option. You can make it stop. If you're getting too many chats and you need to mute it, hover over from the chat, hover over the 3 little dots. That's your magic, right? So you have the options when you select that chat. So if Soy is continually asking questions, or maybe I'm on a group chat and I just don't need to know all of that information, you can hover over those dots and select whatever you'd like to do. Pinning it will bring it up to your top. So if it's a class that you're needing that regular information on, you may want to make sure it's always on top. It's a great best practice for, I do that with my team. I make sure their chats are on top. With certain other employees, my bosses, make sure those are on top. You don't want to miss those messages. So if you have certain classes that you're really trying to focus on some of those communications, you're able to pin it. You can also add someone to your contacts. Muting is how you make it stop. So if there's too many messages, you can mute it so that you can just kind of have some quiet time and not keep getting all of those pings and dings. If you want to hide it, if it's no longer relevant to you, or if you've already gotten that information, you can go ahead and select hide so that you're not having to see those chats over and over. Okay, so we went over that, and I didn't call your attention, I don't think, but if people always ask, how do I insert a link? So one is you can just paste it within the actual chat message. It'll make it, if it's shared on OneDrive, it'll make it a succinct link. Or if you don't have it and you want to insert a link within your chat, you can just click inserting link. So I just wanted to clarify that. Okay, from a chat, if you're wanting to call an individual or if you're wanting to get on video, you have the opportunity to do that in the upper right corner. So the video icon allows you to do a video call. I'm not going to do that because it's going to pull me off the meeting and I don't want Sway to have to stop from behind the scenes. But you can also do a call here, and that will just do an audio call. I know one of the questions that we received a lot of is, how do I make my audio better? You're struggling with your audio. Headset is the best tool to use when you're in a Teams meeting or any kind of a headset. Team certified is always best, but if you have any kind of a headphones or headset, your audio is going to be better and it's going to reduce that echo. Okay, so Soy and I have been having this chat and we've edited our document, so we have a little bit more that we want to do together. If I wanted to add an individual on this chat so that they could be partnering with us on modifying this document, you select in the upper right corner, the little people icon, and you can enter somebody's name in order to pull them into that chat with you. You just enter their name and select add. It's going to pull up as a new conversation. So you don't have to worry if you were sharing a document, it was in its draft stages, and now you want to bring somebody else in to edit. It's not going to pull in all of your private chat from a previous time. You'll be starting fresh. And here, you can have everybody in your chat now, and it'll let you know who is within that chat with you. Okay. The other question that I did receive a lot of is, if I don't already have a chat, how do I search for people? And it's just as simple as going up in your search. So you can see some of my frequent searches. Brian's always with me. So if you're looking for somebody you need to chat with, you can just type in his name, and I know it already pulled up, but we'll just show. You can type in a name and then select the individual that you're wanting to chat with. So I've gone ahead and have a chat started with Brian here and was able to pull up his name. So automatically, once you select search, it's going to pull up that individual. And if you have a previous chat with them, it will pull up that chat. If you are starting a new one, it would start as a new chat. So this is my chat with Brian. He's working behind the scenes right now. Let's just touch base, see how he's doing with you students, how those questions are going. So, but that's how you can kind of search for somebody and then start a chat very quickly. Great. Sounds like we're getting a lot of questions on the back end. Thank you guys, and thank you all for being patient as we're getting those answered. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to go over just briefly again is those Teams notifications. Let's see. Soy, do you mind tagging me in a chat again, just so I can show one more time, just so you see? I know we've had a lot of students ask, how do I know if I've gotten new chats? How do I make sure I see them? So one, you can have, if you're interested, and you can have your mobile app connected, so it will let you know. But in addition, as soon as it, see, I've got it up, so it went up and then away very quickly, but it'll show in your activity feed. So if you feel like you're missing out on something, you can always check there. Another way to view it is when you select your teams, and again, yours is going to look different because it'll be set up as a classroom setting. But when you're here within Teams, anytime somebody posts within your channels, remember that's what these little ones are, it will highlight this as a, well, bold it, I should say. It will bold it so that you know that you are being notified within that channel. If you're trying to communicate to everyone in a channel, you can tag that specific channel. So you'll see I did the @ sign, and it's going to pull up the name of this specific channel. So if you have a channel for a class and you need somebody to answer all of those questions within your class, you can select the name of the channel and be able to post in there. And that's going to get everyone's attention. So anytime you get a new notification here, it will turn into bold. So one way to check, and you can see these are just a couple of testing accounts that we have, but you can see how my sandbox right now is not bolded, but Brian's is. That means I have unseen notifications there. So when you're looking for classes or for your meetings, it's a great best practice just to check each day and look for those bolded features. It can be very easy to miss communications if you're not looking within those specific teams in order to see what may have changed since you last logged in. Okay, the next thing that we're going to go into is the meetings and calendar setting. So I'm going to move over into Teams and go and click on my calendar. It's important to point out that your Teams calendar syncs to your Outlook calendar. So if you schedule a meeting in Outlook, it's going to pop up on your Teams calendar just absolutely magically. So you don't have to do any additional steps. And this is my test account. This is not my real calendar. I really wish it was, but my life is not like this. This one is very empty, but I did put a few meetings on there just so you could see what it looks like when you have a meeting. So I'll go ahead and click on, this is my test meeting. You'll notice that it has the little stripes next to it as opposed to the solid bar. The stripes mean I have not yet RSVP'd to that meeting. So I'm going to open it up just so you can see what it looks like when you receive a meeting notification. I did not RSVP yet because I wanted to be able to show you. To RSVP, you can simply, from Teams, this is the same, you can do it in Outlook or you can do it in Teams. So it gives the same notification to that meeting organizer. It's just a little bit easier if you want to streamline your work and work in one platform. Teams allows you to do that. So you can select RSVP and hit accept. It will show that you're accepted. You'll be going to this particular meeting. To join it, you would select join, and then it would start that actual meeting. From your calendar, anytime you need to schedule a meeting or you want to talk to another student or to a peer, you can select the new meeting option. So that's going to pull up the availability for you to schedule a meeting. You put the title, and then you can add any attendees that you would like to attend your meeting. Set your date and time just like you would within Outlook. Now, the interesting thing here that I want to call your attention to is that you can add a team or a channel to a meeting. So if you want a specific group within your team or within your team's channels to be able to attend that meeting, it will send it to everyone. So if you're like me and we're testing this feature when it first came out, you may have inadvertently sent a meeting to about 20 people when you only wanted 2. So be aware that when you select the channel, anybody that's on there is going to get that meeting notification, whether you like it or not. But you do have the availability if you're trying to schedule, especially for classes, you can go ahead and schedule within that channel and invite individuals there. Then once you've made your selections, you simply push send and it's going to pull up on your calendar. Mine's taking a little bit to load since I'm sharing so many screens, but it'll pull up on your calendar there. So there's nothing special or magical that you have to do. It's as simple as selecting new meeting. Now, I know some individuals asked about live events. The live event option is available there too, but that's a whole nother training. That's what we're doing today is we're hosting a live event. It's a lot different than just hosting your meetings on Teams. Just wanted to call your attention to those differences just so that you could see both of those. Okay. Soy, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing because our next step is I would like to share a video with you that we've pre-recorded on once you're in a meeting, what do you need to do? What are some best practices and best ways to actually interact and engage in that meeting? So we're going to watch this quick video to show you just that.
To make your experience more interactive and engaging during a session, you can use the emoji features on Teams. As your presenter or instructor speaks, you can react real time with the 4 emoji options. This way, the presenter is able to figure out the atmosphere of the virtual session regardless of your video being on or off. In order to be able to view this option, there needs to be 3 or more people in the meeting. To use this feature, click on the emojis with hands raised at the top of the corner of your screen. As you can see, there are a few different options. I'm going to click on the smiling emoji as a tester, but you can choose whichever one is appropriate for your actual session in the future. The most commonly used feature on Teams is the hand raised emoji. As an audience, you can come across some real-time questions that you would like to ask, or as a presenter, you could engage the audience by asking them to raise their hand and participate in activities. Once the audience raises their hand, the 3 dots along with the actual names pops up on the screen for the presenter to see. Remember that name notification only appears on the presenter screen. The presenter is also able to see the list of attendees that raise their hands in order. This way, the presenter can call out the name on the spot or wait until he or she is ready to do so. One feature a presenter may not be aware of is the unraised hand option. This option can help the presenter keep track of the cues of who is going to speak next and unraise their hands of those who has already spoken. Another feature you can use during Teams meeting is the microphone camera buttons. They're found at the top right corner. As you can see, the purpose of this button is to control your presence and participate in the session. If you like to speak during the session, you click on the audio button so that others can hear you. Remaining mute when you speak is a courtesy as it blocks out the sound that could disturb the session while the presenter speaks. On the same level, you can use the video button to either turn on or off your camera. Lastly, a presenter is able to mute the attendees as well in case the attendees either forgot to do so or don't know how to. You can click on the participants icon, which is the 2 people icon here, and click mute. Mute all to mute all your attendees.
Okay, fantastic. I'm stopping the recording. Those are my student workers, aren't they amazing? I think it's really helpful for you to see it live, just so how you could see how to use those reactions within a meeting. The emoji reactions just came out recently before you didn't have that availability to have so much feedback within a particular meeting. So it's a great way to ensure that you're engaged in class and that your professor knows that you're there. Are you able to hear me okay? I just got a sign that it was, okay, sorry. The live event told me I was muted. I did see a question in the chat just about live events. We do have different separate trainings on live events. because there is a little bit more setup and development for hosting those. So if you are interested in that, those are all on our YouTube channel. And Soy, I believe there was a question in the chat too about YouTube. So if you don't mind, when you get a moment, if you would share that with our audience. Okay, I believe I'm sharing my screen again, so we'll get back to the demo part, because this is kind of one of my things that I like to be able to share with everyone, and that is the actual settings within a live event. So let's see. Magdalene, are you able to share that for me? There we go. Oh, sorry, I'm going to be sharing my screen right now. Let me switch back over. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so we want to go over a few additional items that we've got going on here. And I'm just pulling up my notes real quick. Fantastic. So one of the other things I wanted to go over with you is just your status and your duration. So these are a couple ways that you can communicate with other people if you are in a meeting or if you can't be disturbed. In the upper right corner, you'll notice that that's usually it's your initials. In this case, because it's my dummy account, it's not. But you can go in and change your picture so that that way when you're in class with your professor, if you want to be more identifiable, you can have a picture up there and make it a little bit more personalized. This is really important to be aware of statuses, because if somebody has their status on, that's their way of letting you know whether they're really busy and engaged in something, if they're on a call, or if they're absolutely so focused to not disturb them. So you can see here, these are the different statuses that you're able to select, whether you're away or offline. The Appear Offline is a new feature that just recently was released. So you can be online working, but pretend like you're offline in case you need a little alone time. And then you also have the duration option. So the duration is going to be for people who might be forgetful and put themselves on Do Not Disturb and just leave it there forever. And that means people can't chat with you and they can't call you when you're on Do Not Disturb. So it's kind of a way for you to silence Teams so that you can focus on what you need to get done. So within this duration option, you can decide what your status is, and you can decide how long you want that just to display to other people. So when you set that, it will automatically go back to available whenever you are available. Teams automatically sets you to busy when you're in a meeting or you're in a class. So don't feel like you have to jump on and change it each time you go in a class. It's enough to know that. But if you don't want to hear all of the chats, or if you're worried about anything disturbing you when you're in a class, if you set it to Do Not Disturb, that will ensure that you have that focused, concentrated time. And always be aware when you're chatting with somebody, you can also see, it's going to load here in just a second. There it is. So Soy right now is on Do Not Disturb. So when I see that within the chat, I know she's in the middle of something and not to bother her. I think that's really important to call out, because if you're trying to reach out to somebody and wondering why they might be delaying and responding, you can take a glance at their status within their picture icon and immediately know if they're available or not. Okay, let's see. I'm going to stop sharing because we have one other video that I want to share. Let's go ahead and do the video on presenting in Teams. We're going to talk a little bit about what it's like to actually share your PowerPoint and to share information.
From a Teams meeting, which is what I've started now, go up into the control panel to the top right. You're looking for the icon that looks like an arrow pointing upwards. If you're wanting to share anything, whether it's a website, a PDF, a JPEG, or just anything that you have saved on your computer, the process for selecting it is the same, but there is a little bit of technique as to what will come out best for the attendees or the viewers in your classes. So go ahead and select Share Content. In the event that you do have something you're wanting to share that has audio, please make note, you need to select this toggle. It's turned off by default, which means no audio will come on when you're sharing a presentation. If your presentation includes any type of video, you'll want to be sure to click that in order to turn it on. I wanted to show you a few of the options here down below. You'll notice that it's going to pull up all of the screens that you have. I have 3 screens in front of me, so it's displaying those. It will also let you know what windows you have open in case you already have your presentation available. If you're wanting to use the whiteboard feature where you can draw live and interact with each other and have everybody collaborate at the same time, that's an option. But for us, we're going to be selecting a PowerPoint for this purposes because I want to show you how OneDrive and PowerPoint and Teams can all work together to make it so easy for you to present. So my PowerPoints are up on the top bar here because I've been using them frequently. But let's pretend for a moment that I haven't been and I need to find it. I have mine saved on OneDrive. So we'll go ahead and pull up from my OneDrive list and be able to access the most recent version of my presentation. That's the one that I want to share with you today. I select that presentation, then share. It takes just a moment for it to load on the screen. What I prefer about sharing my PowerPoint through this medium is that it pulls up my slides. I get a preview at the base of all of the slides. This is a new feature. Previously, we didn't have this as an option. We made it really challenging if you were giving a presentation. But now I can see exactly how many slides. For this one, I only have 2 since it's just a quick demo. But you'll see that I have a preview of all of the slides within the presentation at the base. As well as a preview, this is the slide that I'm currently sharing with you all. So if you were on the attendees side, you would only see this and my small video beside while I was presenting. Attendees would not see the entire slide deck. You'll also note to the right of my slide, I included notes in my PowerPoint. So if you're giving a large presentation for a class or for a meeting and you want to take notes of some important key points that you want to hit, you do have the availability to share those notes on the screen only with yourself so that you can follow along and be sure you're sharing the right information at the right time. You have the option in Teams, if you're looking, look for the little eyeball icon at the top. That icon allows people who are viewing as an attendee, somebody that's in your class or in your meeting, they have the option, or you have the option of allowing them to flip through your entire slide deck while you're presenting, or if you would like to freeze it, you simply select the little eye icon and it will not, it will or will not allow participants to view and preview on their own. So you can decide what's best for you. Sometimes you have information you may not want people to know about in advance. So you can control the way you're wanting to share your content. If in the presentation you are sharing your slides, but also need to come on the screen and take over that screen for a moment, you can select the Spotlight Me. When you select that, you'll get a confirmation. This is letting you know that to spotlight yourself, you're going to have your video feed become enlarged to take over the slides. So we're going to go ahead and select that. I want you to take note that there is now a white box around me in the bottom right corner to show that I'm being spotlighted. You'll also note there was a blue banner at the top to let me know that I'm being spotlighted. However, from my viewpoint, I still have access to my slides. If I was the attendee on the other side, my video feed would be full screen for them so that they could see me and interact with me. Then when I was done making whatever point, I could simply come down over my video feed, select the 3 dots again, and select Exit Spotlight. It will pull up another confirmation. We can exit, and you'll note the blue banner at the top lets us know that that spotlighting has now concluded. I'm going to go ahead and move through just to show you how you would advance your slides. You'll see these little toggles. You can move backward and forward anytime you're presenting. So if you forgot to cover a point, you can always go back. To navigate forward, you simply click the next arrow, and you'll see here to the right, again, the notes that I prepared in PowerPoint are also displaying on the screen. If you're unfamiliar with how to put notes or how to have designer help or even a coach walk you through a PowerPoint presentation, those are all features that Microsoft offers. And I'll talk a little bit at the end of our presentation today about how you can register for a class to understand how to do PowerPoint on OneDrive and how to have this viewpoint for when you're presenting in class, because it's a much easier way to present. I'm going to go ahead and select Stop Presenting for now, since that concludes the PowerPoint that I have prepared. But I did just want to let you know a few additional details. Anytime you stop presenting, it's going to remove the slides that you were sharing and put you back into full screen. If you're within a class, then whoever else has their video feed on, you would join that with everybody else. So it wouldn't just be you speaking unless you're the only one with your video feed on. You can share additional items by using the share button as we described in that top right corner. When you do, and you're sharing something outside of the PowerPoint option, shared in OneDrive, I just wanted to clarify that it can look a little differently. I chose to show you that option because I think it's the easiest way to navigate. If you just have PowerPoint saved on your computer's desktop and you select to share that, it will cover your entire screen. So if you only have one screen, one laptop, or one monitor in front of you, you won't be able to see the Teams interface and interact with your class, your peers, or those within the meeting to understand if they're chatting or if there's any kind of issue. So I wanted to show you the best practice so you knew the right way to do it from the start. I hope this has been helpful and that you'll be able to continue using ways to present within Teams.
All for listening and joining today. We are going to be wrapping up here shortly. So if you want to go ahead and share our final slides, I wanted to let you know just about a couple of upcoming events for all of you to be able to attend in the future. And please be aware too that we have a couple of videos we're going to be sending out. I know there was questions about how to do breakout rooms and how to do polling. I have videos for you and I'm going to send that up in the follow-up email that goes out tomorrow. So I promise you'll get that information. If today's session was beneficial to you, we do have a couple of additional events coming up. So we'll go ahead and post the link to those in the chat. If you're interested in joining, you feel free to register. The next thing that I would like to do is to be able to turn this presentation over to a few student workers who have resources to share with you. The first student worker that we have up is Mabel, and she's got a little bit of information about Founders Lab.
Hi everyone, my name is Mabel, and I'm a junior majoring in criminology with a minor in business administration. I'm a student worker here at the Founders Computer Lab, which is located on the first floor of the Founders Building, room 1.206. And you can find the Founders Building right next to the Student Union and across from Green Center. So today I wanted to share with all of you the resources and services offered by the lab. Now, the Founders Lab is available by appointment for walk-in support or to use the lab. For the safety of our users, we do ask that masks are worn, and we also regularly disinfect our workstations. To find our hours, you can visit our website at oit.utdallas.edu/labs. We can help configure Wi-Fi, help troubleshoot virus/Trojan issues, help set up email, as well as a number of other issues. However, we don't work on hardware issues, nor do we reformat or reinstall operating systems. The technology store, though, is a great resource and can help you with your hardware issues. Now, with a substantial number of students attending classes online, our lab has put in place a laptop-desktop loaner program available to currently enrolled students. Now, these devices are available for checkout every semester, or each semester, and currently we're offering laptops, webcams, and desktops, and these do have to be returned by the end of each semester. For more details or to reserve a free loaner device, please visit utd.link/checkout. And some exciting news, as of today, we're rolling out our OIT remote lab, where students will be able to remote into a computer lab desktop from their own device. Now, remoting in would allow you to use the power of our desktops and to use applications such as Adobe Creative Cloud software, MATLAB, Mathematica, and more without having to install them on your personal device. Information on how to connect can also be found on our website. Another service we offer is the Comet Print printing service. And for that, you can send a print job by email, then walk over to our lab to pick it up. Black and white print jobs cost 6 cents per sheet of paper, and colored print jobs cost 25 cents per side. Comet Cash is the accepted form of payment and can be loaded through the Get portal. Mobile printing kiosks are also available in the Student Services Edition, as well as Resident Hall West. We are also offering Honor Lock for students who cannot take an exam from their home or their personal computer. Professors must submit a request, and the student will be contacted to schedule an appointment. Questions about your test taking options can be directed to your professor. Lastly, if any of you are interested in joining our team, we are always on the lookout for friendly, tech-savvy students to help staff the labs. Any job postings can be found on Handshake. So thank you all for letting me share about the labs today, and we hope to see you around. Thank you.
Thank you, Mabel. Founders Lab offers so much value to campus, and I love how you all stay open and support anybody that is there on campus. We're really fortunate to have such committed student workers. Our next student guest is from our OIT help desk, which previously was comprised of students on campus and a call center with walk-up help, but it looks quite different now. Vidi is going to share a little on how help desk has equipped itself to be able to serve you remotely. Welcome, Vidi.
Hello everyone, my name is Vidhi and I'm currently a junior getting my bachelor's in computer science. I am also a student supervisor at the OIT Help Desk. I'm here to inform you about the self-service tools that are available at your disposal. If you go to the Help Desk website, you should see a search bar on that page. This search bar can be used to find instructions and information on issues you might be facing. For example, if you're not sure how to reset your password, you can search for password reset here. This will pull up all knowledge-based articles relating to that topic with step-by-step instructions on how to resolve that issue. Another tool that we have is the how-to guides. This page acts as an index for all of our knowledge-based articles. For instance, if you're looking for all articles relating to Microsoft Teams, you can navigate to this page and find links for all Teams articles divided by subtopics to make it easier to navigate. If you need further assistance or would like a person to walk you through any of these processes, you can always contact the help desk. The best way to contact us is via phone or our live chat services. Our live chat is available on all of our websites, so you can talk to a live agent and get answers for your technical questions. We are open 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. all 7 days of the week. You may also submit a ticket request on our online portal if the help desk is closed or if you're unable to call or chat with us. We currently have 34 student workers at the help desk. Here is a look at the group picture from our virtual training this weekend. Just wanted to share some of the faces from behind the scenes. We're all here to ensure that all of your issues are resolved as quickly and efficiently as possible. Now, Amanda will share some additional training resources with you.
Thank you, Vidi. What a treat to see some of the students that serve campus. I love that picture. I realize that with all of the information we gave you today, you may have additional questions or want a little more time to have assistant testing these features. We're offering a couple of small group training sessions. So if you're interested in coming in a small group within a Teams meeting environment, please take a look at these dates and times and you can register online. Note that we're going to post that in the chat, and there are a limited amount of people that can join these small groups. So if we do find that they're booked completely, we can create additional times and we'll send that out in an email update. So go ahead, and if you have your smartphone available, hold it up, use your camera to scan the QR code, and you can enter our event survey. Like you, I am still learning and working to improve myself every day. So if you have feedback for me, positive or negative, I want you to know that I welcome hearing from you, and I look for ways that I can improve and better serve campus. It's on my heart to be of the best service possible to each and every one of you. We know how challenging it is to have to do things remotely or differently, and we work hard to try to smooth that process out as much as possible. Take a moment to complete the survey and share your thoughts with us. It has been an absolute joy to be able to work with you all and host this orientation today. I know that we had several questions submitted, and I hope it helped to answer some of those and alleviate some of the stress that you may have been feeling about starting school remotely. Here's wishing you a wonderful start of the semester. Please always remember that OIT is here to help, and you are awesome.